Imagine waking, fully conscious, yet utterly unable to move. Your eyes dart open in the pitch black of your chamber, a cold dread seizing you as you realize your limbs are unresponsive, your body a prisoner in your own bed. Then, in the periphery of your vision, a shadowy presence coalesces, looming, drawing closer, its unseen weight pressing down upon your chest, stealing your breath, crushing you under an invisible force. This terrifying phenomenon, known today as sleep paralysis, is a chilling reality for millions across the globe, a nocturnal visitation that transcends cultures and centuries, leaving its victims gasping for air and sanity. But as we, at Echoes of Time, delve into the forgotten pages of history, a profound question emerges. What did our ancestors, with their rich tapestries of myth, magic, and nascent science, make of these petrifying nocturnal visitations? Join us on a journey through the ages, where every discovery is an echo of humanity's great history, as we seek to unmask these night terrors of antiquity. From the bustling, lamplit streets of ancient Rome, where 1,000 gods and spirits were believed to walk among mortals, to the mystic stargazing rituals of pharaonic Egypt, where the veil between worlds was thin, and the eerie, firelit folklore of medieval Europe, where witches and demons haunted the waking world, the human experience of this unsettling state has been interpreted through lenses of the divine, the demonic, and often a dangerously mundane fear of the unknown. These weren't mere fleeting nightmares, they were genuine, visceral encounters that demanded explanation, shaping the very cultural fabric of civilizations long past. Our exploration begins in the sun-drenched ancient lands of Egypt, a civilization deeply intertwined with the spiritual realm. Here, where the Nile flowed as the very artery of life and death, the experience of sleep paralysis was often attributed to malevolent spirits, unseen entities that preyed upon the vulnerable in their sleep. These spirits, part of a complex and ancient pantheon of supernatural beings, were believed to intrude upon the fragile barrier between wakefulness and slumber, seeking to torment or possess. Yet the Egyptians also sought solace and explanation in their divine figures.
The benevolent dwarf god, Bes, protector of households, women, and children, and a guardian against evil spirits, was sometimes invoked or even blamed for these episodes. For a people whose lives were governed by the intricate dance of gods and demons, the terror of immobility and the sense of an oppressive presence were not random physiological glitches, but potent manifestations of spiritual warfare, a direct assault from forces beyond mortal comprehension, demanding ritual, prayer, or amulet to ward off the encroaching darkness. As we move eastward, across the Fertile Crescent to the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia, we find a different yet equally terrifying explanation emerging from the ancient clay tablets and whispered tales. Here, the nocturnal assailant was often identified as the demon Lilith. A figure of profound power and dread, Lilith was believed to lurk in the darkness, preying upon sleeping men, women, and infants. She was a nocturnal entity, a seductive yet terrifying figure, and her presence was palpable in the suffocating weight and the inability to stir. In a world where unseen forces dictated much of daily life, Lilith represented a specific named fear, an embodiment of the night terror that explained the peculiar horror of being conscious but paralyzed, utterly vulnerable to an unseen, malevolent entity pressing down with insidious intent. Her story, etched into the collective consciousness, served as both a warning and an explanation for the inexplicable suffering endured in the dead of night. Our journey then takes us to the philosophical and mythical landscape of ancient Greece, a society that sought both rational and fantastical explanations for the world around them. For the Greeks, the torment of sleep paralysis was often conceptualized through the figure of the god Epiales, a malevolent deity specifically associated with nightmares and the crushing sensation often reported. Epiales was not just a symbol, he was a literal force believed to descend upon sleepers, creating the sensation of immense pressure on the chest and the agonizing inability to move or cry out. Beyond this singular divine entity, the Greeks also interpreted these experiences as visits from incubi and succubi, demonic entities both male and female that were believed to sexually assault sleepers, leaving them exhausted, terrified, and often with a profound sense of violation. These explanations, rooted deeply in the rich tapestry of Greek mythology and their understanding of the subconscious, provided a framework for understanding not just the physical sensations, but the emotional and psychological trauma that accompanied such experiences, cementing them as more than mere dreams, but as real, terrifying encounters with the otherworldly. Crossing the Mediterranean, we arrive in the formidable Roman Empire, a civilization renowned for its practicality yet deeply steeped in its own rich lore of spirits and deities. The Romans, absorbing much from Greek culture while retaining their unique interpretations, linked these chilling nocturnal visitations to larvae or lemures. These were not benevolent ancestors, but restless, often malevolent spirits of the dead, specters who roamed the night, haunting the living and causing distress. The sensation of being pressed down, unable to move, was seen as a direct manifestation of these tormenting entities seeking to interfere with the peace of the living. For the Romans, whose belief in the lingering influence of the departed was profound, the larvae and lemures offered a potent explanation for the terror experienced during sleep paralysis. It was a stark reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead, a direct message from the spectral realm imbued with a sense of dread and helplessness that spoke to their deepest fears of the afterlife and the restless souls left behind. As the classical world waned and the Middle Ages dawned across Europe, the interpretations of sleep paralysis evolved, yet retained their supernatural core, now often filtered through the lens of burgeoning Christian theology and pervasive folk beliefs. During this era, such experiences were widely understood as the insidious work of witches, individuals believed to possess dark powers and malevolent intent capable of inflicting suffering from afar. These nocturnal attacks were often described as the witches riding their victims, literally pressing down on their chests, causing suffocation and paralysis. Furthermore, the persistent belief in incubi and succubi continued, now often reinterpreted as demons sent by Satan to tempt and torment the devout. But perhaps the most enduring and terrifying explanation from this period, one that persists in folklore to this day, was the infamous Old Hag. This terrifying figure, a shadowy, often elderly female entity, was believed to squat on the chests of her victims, pressing down with immense weight, rendering them motionless and breathless. The Old Hag was a visceral embodiment of the sleep paralysis experience, a personification of the crushing weight and paralyzing fear, a chilling narrative that offered a concrete, albeit supernatural, explanation for a deeply disturbing physiological event. These were not dismissed as mere superstitions. For the people of the Middle Ages, they were genuine attempts to rationalize a profound and frightening physiological experience, deeply woven into their understanding of a world fraught with good and evil, magic and divine intervention. What becomes undeniably clear across these millennia and myriad cultures is the consistent thread of a shared human experience, the terrifying phenomenon of waking, yet being utterly unable to move, accompanied by a sense of oppressive weight and often a perceived presence.
These historical accounts are not just fascinating glimpses into forgotten beliefs. They represent humanity's earliest, most earnest attempts to grapple with the inexplicable, to find meaning in fear. These were not simply fantastical stories for entertainment. They were vital explanatory frameworks, offering solace, justification, and sometimes even a pathway to understanding in a world without modern neurology or sleep science. As we delve deeper, Echoes of Time uncovers that beyond the pervasive supernatural beliefs, there were also early philosophical and proto-scientific explanations that sought to demystify these occurrences.
While the era lacked the sophisticated tools of modern medicine, ancient scholars and thinkers were not entirely without curiosity regarding the natural world. Intriguing debates emerged, pitting explanations rooted in the physical against those steeped in the spiritual. Was it a physical imbalance, perhaps a humoral disequilibrium, or a dietary excess believed to cause strange humors to accumulate in the brain or chest, leading to such nocturnal distress? Could it be a psychological manifestation, an inner demon or a troubled mind projecting its anxieties onto the waking sleep state? Or was it indeed the sinister, undeniable touch of the otherworldly, a testament to the power of unseen forces? These questions, though framed in ancient terms, echo the fundamental inquiries that continue to drive scientific investigation today. The discussions among ancient scholars, though often shrouded in the mists of time, hint at attempts to move beyond pure spiritual attribution. Some might have observed patterns, linking these experiences to certain foods, sleep positions, or states of mind, attempting to find a repeatable, tangible cause rather than solely relying on divine or demonic intervention.
This proto-scientific curiosity, however rudimentary, represented a crucial shift in human thought, a nascent desire to understand the mechanics of the body and mind, even when confronted with phenomena as terrifying and elusive as sleep paralysis. Crucially, these cultural interpretations did not just shape how sleep paralysis was perceived, they arguably shaped how it was experienced. If you truly believed a demon was pressing on your chest, the fear would be amplified, the sensation of suffocation more acute, the struggle to move more desperate, the visual and auditory hallucinations more vivid and terrifying. The cultural narrative provided a lens through which the raw physiological experience was filtered, giving it form, name, and terrifying agency. The perceived presence was not just a shadowy form. It was Lilith, Epiales, a larva, or the Old Hag herself, complete with their specific lore and malevolent intentions, making the experience intensely personal and profoundly terrifying. What then can these ancient narratives teach us about the enduring human quest to understand the inexplicable? They reveal a deep-seated need for explanation, a universal human tendency to construct meaning around perplexing and frightening events.
They show us the remarkable creativity of the human mind in the face of the unknown, crafting elaborate mythologies and proto-scientific theories to make sense of a world that often defies easy answers. By witnessing how humanity has wrestled with its inner demons and external fears across millennia, we gain a deeper appreciation for the continuous evolution of our understanding of ourselves and the mysteries of consciousness. From the malevolent spirits of ancient Egypt to the spectral Old Hag of medieval Europe, the spectral history of sleep paralysis is a testament to humanity's enduring struggle with the unseen, the unexplained, and the terrifyingly real. As we conclude our journey through these forgotten epochs, we are left to ponder not just the specific beliefs of our ancestors, but the profound resonance of this experience throughout history.
Perhaps by understanding how they grappled with their night terrors, we can better understand our own anxieties and the timeless human quest to illuminate the shadows that lurk at the edges of our perception. What echoes of ancient fear still resonate in our modern understanding of the mind's darkest corners?